Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambeau channel. David Schwartz, who is Ripple's CTO and co-creator of the XRP Ledger and XRP itself, he is renewing calls to drop the XRP Reserve, which is currently at 20. And why is this the case? Well, frankly, and he's not being secretive about this, he thinks that with where XRP effectively is at in its life cycle in terms of directionally where we're going, including price, with that being the primary factor, to be honest with you, he seems to clearly think XRP is not going to be going to the lower levels that you were seeing, even a year and a half ago, and certainly not last market cycle. So it's certainly a vote of confidence in terms of directionally what we should expect for price action. I'll share with you the specifics of what he had to say about this, and also I wanted to cover something else. It's something that you may have noticed, just a separate topic that I find fascinating, having to do with Tether. You ever notice how Tether, it's always supposed to be worth $1, but sometimes it's worth like 99 cents or $1.01. Have you ever wondered why the price of Tether, which is supposed to always be $1, isn't actually always $1? Well, David Schwartz actually answered that question on Quora, and so I thought for fun I'd share that explanation as well. But before going any further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a financial background of any kind. I am not offering financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos, but it's just a fun hobby. That's all that's going on here, damn it. And so I'll assume that the vast majority of you listening are aware that if you're going to self-custody XRP, you create your own account. There is a base reserve of 20 XRP, meaning that XRP that you put into that brand new wallet is stuck in there forever. Not quite literally. If the reserve amount changes, that's a factor also. And you can also now delete XRP accounts, but if you're going to have that account, you need to have that base of 20 XRP. And now, I still think, though, like most people that purchase XRP, I get the sense that the vast majority, are not holding their XRP themselves. Now, I do hold all of my XRP. I don't have any XRP on any cryptocurrency exchange. And I do have multiple wallets. And so, as a result, yes, I have to have, for each account that I have, there's that 20 XRP, and it is locked up. But for most people, I don't think that they're having to deal with this reserve because most people just keep their XRP on exchange, and the vast majority of exchanges are using shared wallets, meaning that your XRP is in an account with a bunch of other people's XRP. And if you've ever noticed moving, crypto to an exchange, your XRP from one exchange to another, that you have to enter a tag ID. That, for lack of a better term, is basically like your little sub-address representative of which portion of the XRP in that shared wallet is yours. But for all those people, you don't need to worry about having that 20 XRP locked up forever, which is kind of a benefit there. And I'd rather just have the XRP and the base reserve and then self custody. But still, if you've ever moved your XRP and wonder why you can move all of it, that is actually why. And so here's the tweet from David Schwartz. And this is from just earlier today, in the wee AM hours of today, September 7th. David Schwartz wrote the following on Twitter. I personally advocate lowering the XRP Ledger Reserve from 20/5 to 10/2. And I'll explain what those numbers mean. But ultimately, what is prompting this, and he said, like David Schwartz earlier this year, he made it clear that he'd be advocating for this type of reserve reduction, really based on XRP price action, which to me is a rather positive sign to see one of the creators of XRP and the XRP ledger itself saying, yeah, it looks like he's not wording it like this, but still, this is how I'm interpreting it. Yeah, XRP looks like it's probably not going much lower, and as a result, it makes sense to reduce the reserve. And you can imagine why, right? Like, just imagine if there was a crazy high XRP price. I'll just make this up. Like, let's say XRP was $1,000. Can you imagine if just to start an XRP account, to start a brand new account, you have to lock up $20,000? That would be insane, right? like who's going to do that? That would be a barrier to entry. At least for some. I think as a result, people just, if they're going to buy it, they do what I think most people are doing now anyway, which is not create their own account, and then you don't have to worry about it. But still, that's obviously ridiculous. And so the higher it goes, the more of a barrier it's going to be for entry for people that want to self-custody. And so as the price gets higher, because you can imagine, think about this, even just if the price goes to like 10 or 20 or $30 this market cycle, and I mean that's a chunk of change right there just for XRP that's locked up and can't do anything, right? And so it does make sense as the price appreciates over time to adjust that reserve, and it has happened. The XRP reserve, I can't remember what the number it used to be, but it did actually used to be much higher. And so you can see here, somebody named XRP Aussie saw that tweet from David Schwartz and was kind of wondering, okay, what's the 20/5, 20/10 number here? And you wrote the following. I don't get the 20/5 and 10/2 number. Where does the fraction come into place? For example, my understanding is 20 XRP is the reserve, so are you referring to dropping it to 10 instead? Am I missing something here? Is there more to this than you advocating lowering the reserve price? Which is a totally legitimate question. I think that when people read that, there's a lot of confusion up front because there are actually a couple numbers to consider. And David Schwartz actually did respond, and he wrote, currently 20 is the base reserve and 5 is the incremental reserve. The base is the minimum for any account. The incremental is added per offer, escrow, trust line, or other owned object. Yes, exactly. So again, that 20 number, that's the one that most people are aware of. That would be reduced to 10. So effectively cutting the amount of XRP that needs to be locked up to start an account, it cuts it in half. And then the other number, that 5 and the 2 number right there, well, the 5, by the way, so it's actually a number of things, as David Schwartz cited there, including the fact that XRP accounts can now be deleted, but there is a cost to it. If you want to get your XRP out, that 20 base XRP reserve back, you can't quite get the whole thing because there is a cost of 5 XRP to delete your account. So there's that. And also, if you want to issue an asset on the XRP ledger, then you need to have 5 XRP locked up. So that's another, just an example of what it could be, that incremental increase there. So it would go from 5 to 2. So still heading in the right direction here. And then there was this. This dates back to April 10th. This is when he first started talking about this. And so he tweeted out, if the price of XRP stays over $1 USD, United States dollar, for 2 weeks, I will personally start advocating for a drop in the XRP ledger reserve requirements from 20/5 to 10-2. And then somebody responded and wrote, would it make more sense to implement a variable reserve, a reserve that changed based on United States dollar price? And David Schwartz responded, because that's something that I had pondered myself. And so David Schwartz responded with the following. The problem with that is that that raises in the reserve are painful to users, causing XRP to become locked that previously wasn't. I think it's a top priority to avoid that unless totally unavoidable. That's why I haven't supported lowering the reserve in the past. Yeah, and so I've thought about that too, and that's why I'm thinking, couldn't you just have a variable XRP reserve that only benefits to the downside, which is to say, as the price of XRP goes up, then the amount of XRP that needs to be locked up decreases, but you never see the inverse of that. Because I get it. I mean, if you like open up an XRP account and then you say you're expecting it just to be 20 XRP, but then because there's some sort of amendment change, substantially more than 20 XRP can no longer be removed just because of the direction that the price went. Yeah, I understand that would not be appealing. But that's why I'm kind of wondering, can't it just be variable, but only so that it favors less XRP being held up? So like it's kind of like you're being grandfathered in at that point. And so then Alloy Networks, who actually happens to be a validator, XRP validator, wrote in response to David Schwartz, but isn't this being reactionary? After all, XRP has been here and higher before. And so question, why 10 specifically and not 4 or 2? After all, even $2 is a lot for the places where the XRP ledger can be of immense use. And so David Schwartz responded with the following. My main concern is minimizing the risk that the reserve will need to be raised. I'm being extremely conservative about that. We have a lot more data now than we did the last time XRP was $2. and the price would have to drop awfully low for 10/2 to be a dangerously low reserve. And so David Schwartz, I'll tell you what, I definitely share that mindset. I don't think that we're at risk of the price of XRP dropping substantially lower than what we've been seeing of late. I mean, even with the massive pullback from May 19th when the whole crypto market started to tank for a couple months or so, you saw XRP get down to, very briefly, 52 cents. These days of like 11-cent XRP, in all likelihood, they're just gone forever. Unless something completely unexpected and disastrous happens, it's probably just a thing of the past. That would be my guess anyway. So anyway, part of the reason I want to highlight this is just because it seems clear that this is a vote of confidence on, I think, this is the way I'm interpreting it. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but it seems to me like a vote of confidence in terms of directionally where the price of XRP is going here. And so what about Tether? Let's move into this next topic now. So here's a question on Core, and David Schwartz, he's pretty active on Core here. Somebody asked, why does Tether's price fluctuate around $1 by half a cent or less and not stay exactly at $1? And David Schwartz responded with the following. He said there's 3 reasons. Number 1, counterparty risk. There is some risk that the whole Tether system will collapse and render your Tethers worthless. This pushes their price below $1 and makes the price responsive to news about the Tether ecosystem. Number 2, convenience premium. People trade Tethers for dollars because they can do things dollars can't do, being easily transferred. Depending on how important it is to be able to easily transfer money, the price of Tether is pushed up. And number 3, supply and demand. When cryptocurrencies are dropping in price, lots of people want to trade their cryptos for Tethers. If there aren't enough Tethers liquid on the market, this can push the price up. Similarly, if Bitcoin is booming, lots of people try to get rid of their Tethers at once, causing their value to temporarily drop. Yeah, and so I assume that was a primary factor. Just full transparency, not that it matters really, but I personally have never used Tether. I haven't had a need to. But I've observed these little price discrepancies here. I'm like, oh, it's off from $1. And I never really looked into it. I just assumed it had something to do with supply and demand. But I also have noticed that it's never really off more than like what? A penny in either direction. Here, I mean, I can look at the all-time price chart, but that's pretty much, that's what I typically see. Yeah, somewhere there about. Yeah, that's about right. So it's interesting to me. I don't know if there in any other sort of if there's anything else coded into it or any sort of like exchange requirements that would prevent it from having any more volatility than that, because it's just interesting that people within the crypto sphere, nobody's willing to pay $1.02 or $1.05 or $1.10 in times of extreme need or something like that. I'm not sure, and I haven't seen anything like that. So I don't know that there's something coded into it or anything like that, or that there's any sort of specific restrictions based on from exchange to exchange. But it is still people just deciding what they're willing to pay for it. And maybe since it's just this societally, we understand that it's supposed to be worth $1, and that as a result of that, people are not willing to pay much more or less at any point in time, regardless of what's going on. Maybe it really is just as simple as that, but I never see it very really any more than that. So anyway, just an interesting topic. I thought I'd wrap the video up with that, since David Schwartz had something to say there as well. But I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.